What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved entertainers walks onto a talk show stage expecting a friendly conversation, only to be blindsided by a host spiraling into jealousy and insecurity? In just 34 seconds, Jennifer Hudson would go from gracious television personality to a name that would become synonymous with one of the most shocking meltdowns in daytime television history. Jamie Foxx arrived at the studio that morning in good spirits. He had been friends with Jennifer Hudson for years, or so he thought. They had shared stages, award shows, mutual respect for each other's craft. When her team reached out about appearing on her show, it seemed like a no-brainer. Two Oscar winners sitting down for what should have been an easy, fun conversation about music, movies, and life in the spotlight. But from the moment Jamie walked out onto that stage, something felt off. The audience erupted in applause as Jamie made his entrance, all smiles and waves. He embraced Jennifer with a warm hug, the kind you give an old friend. But as they pulled apart, there was something in her eyes. Something cold. Something that didn't match the smile plastered across her face for the cameras. They sat down, and the interview began normally enough. Jennifer started with the usual softballs. How was he doing? What projects was he working on? Jamie answered with his characteristic charm and humor, getting laughs from the audience, keeping things light and entertaining. He was a professional, after all. This was what he did. Then Jennifer shifted in her seat. Her energy changed. The smile became tighter. "So, Jamie," she said, her voice taking on an edge that hadn't been there moments before. "You've been in this industry for a long time now." Jamie nodded, still smiling. "Yeah, blessed to still be here, you know. Still getting to do what I love." Right, Jennifer said. But she wasn't really listening. She was already moving toward whatever point she wanted to make. "But don't you don't you ever feel like maybe you've had your moment? Like maybe it's time to step aside and let the next generation have their turn?" The audience went quiet. That uncomfortable kind of quiet where everyone knows something just went wrong, but nobody wants to acknowledge it yet. Jamie's smile faltered just slightly. He tried to laugh it off. "Step aside? There's room for everybody, isn't there? I don't think success is a limited resource." "But isn't it, though?" Jennifer pressed, leaning forward now. There are only so many roles, only so many opportunities. And when people like you just keep taking and taking, what's left for everyone else?" Jamie blinked. This wasn't playful banter anymore. This was something else entirely. "Jennifer, I'm not sure what you're getting at here." "What I'm getting at," she said, her voice rising slightly, "is that some of us had to fight twice as hard to get half as far. Some of us didn't have things handed to us on a silver platter." The accusation hung in the air like poison gas. Jamie's expression hardened. "Handed to me? You think I was handed my career? I think you've benefited from certain privileges that others haven't had," Jennifer shot back. "I think you've coasted on charm and connections while actual talent had to scrape and claw." The audience gasped. This was live television. This was really happening. Jamie took a breath, clearly trying to maintain his composure. "Jennifer, I don't know what's going on with you right now, but this is disrespectful. I came here as your friend." "My friend?" Jennifer laughed, but there was no humor in it. "My friend wouldn't have taken that role I was supposed to get. My friend wouldn't have convinced the director to go in a different direction." "What role?" Jamie asked, genuinely confused now. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb with me," she snapped. "The Morrison Project. I was attached to that for months. Then suddenly, you're in a meeting with them and boom, they're going a different direction. A male direction. Funny how that works." Jamie shook his head. "Jennifer, I auditioned for that role, like everyone else. I didn't even know you were up for it. And even if I had, that's not how casting works. Directors make choices based on what's right for their vision." "Their vision," Jennifer repeated mockingly. Their vision that somehow always seems to favor people who look like you, talk like you, play the game like you. People who look like me? Jamie's voice was quiet now, dangerous. What exactly are you trying to say? Jennifer stood up abruptly. I'm saying that I'm tired of watching mediocre men get opportunities that exceptional women have to beg for. I'm saying that your whole act, this whole humble, grateful thing you do, it's tired. We all see through it. The audience was completely silent now. Some people had their hands over their mouths. Others were looking at each other in disbelief. This was carnage. This was a professional relationship imploding in real time. Jamie stood too, his jaw clenched. You know what, Jennifer? I don't know what's really going on with you. I don't know if this is about that role or if it's about something else entirely. But I do know that I don't deserve this. I've never been anything but supportive of you and your career. Supportive? Jennifer's voice dripped with contempt. You were supportive when it made you look good, when it got you favor with the right people. But when it actually mattered, when I actually needed someone in my corner, where were you? When did you need me? Jamie asked, his voice breaking slightly with genuine hurt. You never called. You never reached out. You shut everyone out. Because I had to, Jennifer yelled, and now there were tears forming in her eyes, but they were tears of rage, not sadness. Because trusting people like you is what got me hurt in the first place. Because every time I believed someone had my back, they were really just looking for a way to climb over me. Jamie took a step back, shaking his head. This isn't about me. This is about whatever you're dealing with internally. And I'm sorry you're hurting. I really am. But I won't stand here and be your punching bag. Then leave, Jennifer shouted. Nobody's keeping you here. Go ahead and run, just like you always do when things get uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? Jamie's voice rose now too. You've spent the last 10 minutes attacking me on national television for things I didn't do. You've made accusations that aren't true. You've disrespected me, my career, everything I've worked for. And you want to talk about uncomfortable? I want to talk about truth, Jennifer fired back. I want to talk about how people like you get to float through life on talent and charm, while people like me have to be perfect just to be considered adequate. I want to talk about how you get second chances and third chances and fourth chances, while one mistake from me would end everything. That's not on me, Jamie said, his voice firm but not cruel. That's on an industry that's broken. That's on a system that's unfair. But I'm not your enemy here, Jennifer. I never was. You're complicit, she said coldly. You benefit from it, so you're complicit. Jamie stared at her for a long moment. The hurt in his eyes was visible to everyone watching. I came here today because I thought we were friends. I thought this would be fun, easy, a good conversation between two people who respect each other. But you clearly don't respect me. You don't even see me as a person. You see me as a symbol of everything you think is wrong with your life. Don't psychoanalyze me, Jennifer snapped. Then don't project your pain onto me, Jamie responded. I'm sorry you're struggling. I'm sorry you feel overlooked or undervalued. But tearing me down isn't going to build you up. Jennifer's face twisted into something ugly. Get off my stage. Excuse me, Jamie said quietly. You heard me. Get off my stage. This is my show. My name on the building. My audience. And I don't want you here anymore. Jamie looked at her, really looked at her, and something in his expression shifted from hurt to pity. You know what the saddest part of this is? You had something real here. A platform, an audience that loved you, respect from your peers, and you're throwing it all away because you can't handle your own insecurities. I said, get out, Jennifer screamed, pointing toward the exit. Her hand was shaking. Her entire body was shaking. The audience sat frozen. Producers were frantically talking into headsets. Camera operators didn't know whether to keep filming or cut away. This was chaos. This was a disaster. Jamie nodded slowly. Okay, I'll go. But I want you to remember something, Jennifer. I didn't create the system that hurts you. I didn't make the rules that favor some and punish others. I'm just trying to survive in it. Same as you. And attacking the people who should be your allies. The people who actually understand what you're going through. That's not strength. That's self-destruction. Save your sermon, Jennifer said, her voice venomous. You don't understand anything about what I'm going through. You've never had to fight the way I have. You've never had to prove yourself over and over and over again, just to be seen as half as good. You're right, Jamie said quietly. I don't understand your specific struggle. I have my own. But I know what it's like to feel like you're not enough. I know what it's like to wonder if you deserve the success you have. And I know what it's like to be so afraid of losing it that you start burning bridges before anyone can cross them. Jennifer's eyes flashed with fury. You think you're so wise, so enlightened, standing there acting like you're taking the high road, when really you're just trying to make yourself look good while making me look crazy. You're making yourself look crazy, Jamie said, and there was genuine sadness in his voice now. I don't have to do anything. The cameras are rolling, Jennifer. Millions of people are watching you destroy yourself right now, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. Then stop trying, she yelled. Just leave. Go back to your perfect life with your perfect career and your perfect image, and leave me alone. Jamie picked up his jacket from the chair. He moved slowly, deliberately, giving her one more chance to stop this, to apologize, to acknowledge what was happening. But Jennifer just stood there, arms crossed, face set in stubborn defiance. I hope you find whatever peace you're looking for, Jamie said as he walked toward the stage exit. I really do. Don't hold your breath, Jennifer muttered. Jamie stopped at the edge of the stage and turned back one last time. You know, I actually looked up to you. Your talent, your resilience, the way you came back from tragedy and built something beautiful. I admired that. I still do, believe it or not. But this version of you, the one that's so consumed by bitterness that she can't see straight, I don't know her, and I don't think you do either. You don't know anything about me, Jennifer said, but her voice was quieter now. Some of the fire had gone out of it. Maybe not, Jamie acknowledged, but I know what fear looks like, and I know what self-sabotage looks like. And I'm looking at both right now. Jennifer turned away from him, facing the audience instead. This interview is over. We're going to commercial. But Jamie wasn't done. One more thing, he said. When you wake up tomorrow and realize what you've done here today, when the anger wears off and the clarity comes, I want you to know something. I forgive you. I don't understand this, and I don't agree with it, but I forgive you. Because I think underneath all this rage, there's someone who's hurting, and hurt people. Jennifer didn't respond. She didn't even turn around. She just stood there, rigid, waiting for him to leave. Jamie shook his head and walked off the stage. The audience watched him go in complete silence. No applause, no gasps. Just heavy, uncomfortable silence. As soon as Jamie disappeared from view, Jennifer seemed to deflate slightly. She looked out at her audience, and for just a moment, there was confusion in her eyes, like she was waking up from a bad dream and trying to figure out where she was. But then her face hardened again. She squared her shoulders. Well, she said to the audience, forcing a laugh that sounded hollow. That was unexpected. Nobody laughed with her. Nobody even smiled. They just stared at her with expressions ranging from shock to disappointment to secondhand embarrassment. We'll be right back, Jennifer said, and her voice cracked on the last word. The cameras cut away, but the damage was done. In less than 20 minutes, Jennifer Hudson had gone from respected talk show host to cautionary tale. She had taken a perfectly pleasant interview opportunity and turned it into a spectacle of unprofessionalism and misplaced anger. Backstage, Jamie was met by his team. They could see the hurt on his face, the confusion, the disbelief. "What just happened?" one of them asked. Jamie shook his head. "I honestly don't know. I thought we were friends. I thought this was going to be fun." He paused, running his hand over his face. "She's in pain. Real pain. I just wish she hadn't decided to share it with the world by attacking me." "Are you okay?" another team member asked. Jamie considered the question. "I will be. But man, that was rough. That was really rough. I've been ambushed before. I've had difficult interviews. But that was different. That was personal. That was someone I cared about trying to hurt me on purpose." "She succeeded," someone said quietly. "Yeah," Jamie agreed. "She did. But you know what? I meant what I said out there. I forgive her. Not because she deserves it right now, but because holding on to anger would just poison me the same way it's poisoning her. I've worked too hard on myself to let someone else's breakdown become my burden." Back on stage, Jennifer was getting touch-ups during the commercial break. Her makeup artist worked in silence, trying to fix the mascara that had smudged slightly from her angry tears. The studio audience sat in awkward silence, whispering to each other, pulling out their phones to text friends about what they had just witnessed. A producer approached Jennifer cautiously. "Are you okay? Do you want to cancel the rest of the show?" "No," Jennifer said sharply. "We're continuing. We have other guests." "Jennifer," the producer said gently, "maybe we should talk about what just happened." "What's there to talk about?" Jennifer snapped. "He came on my show with an attitude, and I called him out. That's my job." "This is my show." The producer exchanged a glance with another staff member. They both knew that wasn't what happened. They both knew the footage would tell a very different story. But arguing with Jennifer in this state seemed like a bad idea. "Okay," the producer said. "We'll continue. But after this, we need to have a serious conversation." Jennifer waved her hand dismissively. "Fine. Whatever. Just get me through this show." The commercial break ended. The cameras came back on. Jennifer plastered on a smile that didn't reach her eyes and tried to pretend like nothing had happened, like she hadn't just committed career suicide on live television. She introduced her next guest with forced enthusiasm. The interview was stiff, awkward, painful to watch. The guest kept glancing nervously toward the exit, clearly afraid they might be the next target of Jennifer's inexplicable rage. Meanwhile, Jamie Foxx left the building. He walked to his car in the parking lot, got in, and sat there for a moment in silence. His phone was already blowing up. People who had watched the show live were calling and texting, asking if he was okay, expressing disbelief at what they had witnessed. Jamie didn't answer any of them yet. He just sat there, processing, trying to understand how a friendship had dissolved so quickly, trying to figure out if he had missed warning signs, trying to reconcile the Jennifer he thought he knew with the Jennifer who had just eviscerated him on television. He thought about all the times they had laughed together at industry events, all the times they had supported each other's projects, all the conversations about the challenges of staying grounded in Hollywood. Had any of it been real, or had she been harboring this resentment the whole time, just waiting for an opportunity to unleash it? Back in the studio, Jennifer finished her show. When the cameras finally stopped rolling, she walked off the stage without saying a word to anyone. She went straight to her dressing room and closed the door. Inside, alone, she finally let herself feel it. The reality of what she had done began to sink in. She had attacked a friend. She had made wild accusations. She had embarrassed herself in front of millions of people. And for what? Because she was angry about a role she didn't get? Because she was frustrated with an industry that often overlooked her? Because she was tired of fighting so hard for everything? None of those were Jamie's fault. He hadn't wronged her. He had just been an available target for rage that had been building for months, maybe years, and she had let it explode all over him. Jennifer looked at herself in the mirror. She barely recognized the person staring back. When had she become so bitter? When had jealousy and resentment started eating away at her from the inside? When had she decided that tearing others down was an acceptable way to deal with her own pain? There was a knock at her door. "Jennifer, we need to talk," her producer's voice came through. "Not now," she called back. "Yes, now. This can't wait." Jennifer opened the door. Her producer stood there with several other executives. Their faces were grim. "We've been getting calls," the producer said. "A lot of calls. People want to know what happened. They want to know if this was planned, if it was real, if you've lost your mind." "Tell them whatever you want," Jennifer said tiredly. "Jennifer, this is serious. You just attacked one of the most beloved people in entertainment, on your own show, for no apparent reason. Do you understand how bad this looks?" "I understand perfectly," Jennifer said. "I don't need you to explain it to me." "Then help us understand why," another executive said. "Why would you do this? What were you thinking?" Jennifer laughed bitterly. "I wasn't thinking. That's the problem. I was feeling. And I let those feelings turn into weapons." "We need to do damage control," the producer said. "We need a statement, an apology, something." "To who?" Jennifer asked. "To Jamie? To the audience? To you?" "To everyone," the producer said. "This affects everyone. Your reputation, the show's reputation, the network's reputation." Jennifer sat down heavily. I know I messed up. I know this is bad." "Bad doesn't even begin to cover it," the executive said bluntly. "This could end your show. This could end your career. You understand that, right?" Jennifer nodded slowly. The weight of it was finally hitting her. In 34 seconds of unchecked rage, she had potentially destroyed everything she had built. And for what? To make herself feel powerful for a moment? To prove some point that didn't even make sense? "What do I do?" she asked quietly. The producer sighed. "First, you call Jamie. You apologize. Privately. Genuinely. From the heart. Then we figure out the public response." "He's not going to want to hear from me," Jennifer said. "Probably not," the producer agreed. "But you owe him that much. You owe him a real apology, not a publicist-approved statement. You owe him the truth about what just happened." Jennifer pulled out her phone. She stared at Jamie's name in her contacts. Her thumb hovered over it. What would she even say? How do you apologize for something like that? But she knew she had to try. Meanwhile, Jamie was still sitting in his car. He had finally started responding to messages. Short replies. "I'm okay. Yeah, that was wild. I'll explain later." He was being gracious, even in his shock, not saying anything negative about Jennifer, not adding fuel to the fire that was undoubtedly already spreading across social media. His phone rang. He looked at the caller ID, Jennifer. For a long moment, he considered not answering. He had every right to ignore her call. He had every reason to let her stew in the consequences of her actions. But that wasn't who he was. And maybe, just maybe, she was calling to actually explain herself. He answered. "Jamie," Jennifer's voice came through, small and broken. "I am so sorry." Jamie closed his eyes. "Why, Jennifer? Just tell me why." And finally, with the cameras off and the audience gone, Jennifer started to tell him the truth.